This conference will now be recorded.
Okay, so what we had discussed yesterday was internal orders, right? We understood what are internal orders, why they are required, okay, and within the internal orders, you can perform planning and you can perform budgeting, and then you need to make the postings to the internal order. Now, when you create an internal order, it can be either a real internal order or it can be the statistical order. Okay, and we also discussed that what is the difference between the real posting and the statistical posting. So in a particular transaction, in a particular CO transaction, there can be only one cost object which will take the real posting. All other cost objects, if there are more than one cost objects available in the transaction, all other cost objects will take statistical posting. So profit center will always take a statistical posting. Cost center can take real or statistical. In terms of internal order, only real internal orders will take real posting and statistical internal order will take statistical posting. Okay, so these are the things that we discussed yesterday. So maybe just to refresh, what I'll do is I will maybe another 5 minutes, I will talk about the same thing that we discussed yesterday, and then we will continue towards our next topic. So what we have done yesterday was in the SPRO, I shown you that the internal orders are configured within controlling. Within controlling, you can go to internal orders. And in the internal orders, the first thing that we need to do is we need to activate the order management in our controlling area. Okay, so we were getting some issue, right? Because we activated our controlling area as 000 from 2019 onwards. But there was a way in which now you can see this controlling area is activated from year 2000 itself. Okay, how I have done this? So there is an option to add the new interval. Okay, so how? Currently I'm in the display mode. So is this somebody from you who is using this particular screen? Because I got an error. SS user 2. Somebody from you, can you just come out of the screen, please? If yes, please come out. If not, maybe I have to delete it from the locked entries. Okay, so let me delete it first. So SM12, I think you already know this transaction. If somebody is locking the screen for more time and you are not able to proceed, you can just go to this SM12, go to list and delete all the entries. I think the entries are deleted now. So we should be able to, yes, we are now into the edit mode. Okay, so if I go for controlling area S000, earlier, if I go to this activate components, it was only showing that this particular controlling area is active from 2019 onwards, right? But if I want to add a new interval, I can click on the new entry and system will ask me from which year. So I added from 2000 to 2018, and that is the reason we are now able to see two different. Let me exit from here. Cancel. Yes. Okay, so I can see these two intervals. One is starting from 2000 to 2018 and second one is starting from 2019. Okay, so let's go with this one. Just double click on activate components. Uh, just a minute. Let cancel this. Cancel. So activate order management in controlling area. Our controlling area is S000. Within S000, let's go to the activate components and then double click on the fiscal year, right? So we have to check this order management is active or not. Okay, so we have to make sure that this order management is active if you want to use internal order accounting, right? So this is the first thing. Now, before we go and create the internal orders, what we need to do is we need to set up the master data. We need to perform the configuration for the order master data. So let's go to the order master data. In the order master data, you have to first define the order types. Okay, SAP already pre-delivered some order types which you can directly use, or you can create your own. So we created this S001 yesterday, which is the marketing internal orders for our controlling area, S000 with category 1. Category 1 means overhead cost, right? So internal order into the controlling, because all other order types are related to the different modules that we have in SAP. Okay, so if we just want the normal controlling internal orders, we will use this category 01. Okay, so we created this uh, internal order type. Let's double click on this. Within this, we set up the number range. Okay, we assign this order type to one of the numbering group, and that group has a number range. So these are the numbers. And then I told you internal orders, once they are created, you can plan the values in the internal order, you can create the budgets, you can settle the orders at the month end. And that is the reason, in order to carry out these activities, in order to settle the internal order, in order to plan the values in the internal order, and in order to do the budgeting for the internal orders, we need to have the profiles: settlement profile, planning profile, and then budget profile. Okay, and CO partner update. So once the cost is collected in the internal orders, normally it is for the short duration, right? At the month end, we want to transfer the cost which is posted into the internal order to the various different cost objects. So in order to allow that, in order to move the cost from the internal orders to the other cost objects, we need to make it this at least semi-active. This should be semi-active. This should not be not active. Okay, I told you we will talk about when it should be semi-active and active. We will talk about this later, but as of now, just remember at least this should be semi-active. Okay, and then if you just go to status profile, again, this is optional field. We will talk about what is status management later on. As of now, just remember that this is optional field. You can ignore this. And finally, we also seen the field selection. Okay, there was one question yesterday, which I still remember, but oh, I had not ticked this for business area. Okay, because I was assuming that this is ticked for business area. So now let me tick on this business area. I was not able to find the answer till now. So this question you can still keep parked if this is not working. If this is working, you will get an answer. Okay, so let's save this. So now we have this internal order, which we created yesterday. And then if you go back into the further configuration, I'll say yes. Number range we already discussed, no need to worry about this. Other things as of now, no need to worry. We can just proceed towards creation of the internal order. Okay, and in order to create the internal order, we again have to go to SAP Easy Access, because internal orders creation is not a configuration which you can do from SPRO. Internal order creation is part of the master data. So let's go to accounting, controlling, internal order, master data, special function order, and transaction KO01 to create a new internal order. So let's create a new internal order, controlling area S000, with the order type we created was S001. Let's press enter. Okay, so you have to specify a company code if you want. Now you got this idea, right? Business area has become a mandatory field, or at least the highlighted field. So I think this is the uh, functionality of that highlight button tick that we have. Okay, so why it is asking for mandatory, that we need to check. Is it mandatory or it is just highlighted, that we will check. So if I don't enter company code, if I don't enter plant and all these things, object class is override. And in control data, if you want this order to be statistical, Okay, if you don't want this order to be real, which means you don't want to allocate the cost which is posted in this internal order to different cost objects, then you can keep it as statistical. Okay, so let's try to save. So there is error, company code is not defined, and enter the currency key. So let's enter the currency key first, which is INR. Let's try to save. So company code seems to be the mandatory field. Let's enter company code S001 and let's click on save. Yeah, this is a common error. Don't worry about this. Okay, perfect. So now question to Shailendra. Have you understood now what is the meaning of this business area? Meaning of the highlighted field. Highlighted means it is just highlighting that field, nothing else. So out of the other fields, this is highlighted. Okay. Okay, then perfect. So we understood what is highlight. So now we have this internal order which we just now created. Is this the one that we created now? Because this seems to be same that we created yesterday. I don't think so. How many internal orders are created for company our controlling area? Okay, so yesterday was 20. Today we created 40. So maybe, yeah. So this is the one which we just now created. Okay, so now internal order is created. So we have not provided the description. Let me go to more and provide some description here. So let's say this is my Facebook campaign. Okay, Facebook campaign for month of April. Okay, so let's say this is my Facebook campaign, or even now we can actually also do Feb or maybe Jan. Why? Because now our controlling area is active from 2000 onwards. So we can make the postings in January also. So let's say this is my Facebook campaign for the month of January, last month. Okay, so this is my description. Another thing, I need to go to control data and I have to release this order, because if I want to plan, if I want to set up a budget, if I want to make any postings to this internal order, it must be released first. So let's release this. Now the status is released. And now let's save this and proceed towards the transactions. So normally what happens is, let me enter. First thing, you will create the internal order. Second is, maybe you will enter the planned values. Third is, you can even enter the budget values. Fourth is, you make postings to internal orders. And finally, at the month end, at period end, settle the cost from internal order to different cost objects. Okay, so this cost objects can be cost center or it can be any other cost object also. It is not necessary that at the month end whatever cost is collected in the internal order will go to the cost center. It can be any cost object. Okay, so this is a flow. So planning part, I think we have seen yesterday. So maybe I will again do it once. So what I'll do is I will go for come out of this master data. Let's go to the planning. So in the planning, you have two plans. One is overall values, where you can specify the overall value for this particular internal order. But normally, instead of providing the overall value to the internal order, we normally provide the values according to the cost element, right? So for example, if I want to plan that marketing expense is my cost element, right? Marketing expense for this particular internal order, which is 100040, should not be, or this is planned value, right? So this is not a budget. Marketing expense for this particular internal order would be, let's say, 50,000 INR, right? So I cannot just provide the overall value. I want to provide the value along with the cost element. Okay. And in order to enter this value, there is a transaction called as KPF6. What is KPF6? In this transaction, you can enter the planned values based on the cost element. Okay, so planning, we already discussed the version which is provided by SAP because we have used this in case of cost center also. So the planning version is 0. From period to period, you can specify. You can specify the fiscal year also. So from period, let's say 1, okay, to period 12, and we want to plan for year 2018. Or maybe to be very specific, you can also specify single period. So we are planning for Jan, month of Jan, which would be 10th period, right? So from 10th period to 10th period of 2018, we want to make the planning for this particular order for cost element, which is marketing expense, which is 4002, right? Very much similar to what we have seen in case of cost center accounting. So in the version 0, for this particular period, for this particular year, for this order, and for this kind of cost, we are providing the planned value. So let's click on this overview screen. Okay, version 0 is not defined for fiscal year. So I think even we need to maintain the version. Let's go and see in the configuration if we can maintain the version for 2018. So SPRO, IMG, controlling, general controlling, organization, and we have the versions here. Okay, so version 0, settings for each fiscal year, controlling area version 0. So you can see here the problem is these versions are created from 2019 onwards. So if you want to add a new year, just click on this new entries and just specify this from 2018. Okay, or maybe you can just copy the values from 2019. Let's see if it is same or different. Yeah, so we just need to tick on this indicator. So 2018 also copying is allowed. Let's save this. Uh, Fill out the required entries. It is asking us that this is the required entry. Why? No, I think there are some other entries which are required. So let's do one thing. Let me come out of the screen. SPRO, IMG, controlling, general controlling, organization, maintain versions. Now instead of creating a new entry, what I'll do is I will copy 2019. I think it is already saved, so no need to worry. Okay, let's try. I think it is already saved. So if I go for planning now and click on overview screen, yes. So now there is another error that maintain the exchange rate type for version 0 in 2018. So in order to avoid these errors, what I can do is even you will do the same thing. So let me delete this first, which I created just now. Okay. And okay, maybe it may take time. So let's maintain whatever it is asking for. But whenever you are copying any year, see what will happen is by default, this version will be created for next 5 years. So from 19, 20, 21, 22, 23. What will happen on 24? So instead of creating the new entry, just copy this 2023 so that all the values within the fiscal year are automatically copied. So currently it is asking for exchange rate type. So let's maintain this exchange rate type M and click on save. Okay, so let's see if it is asking for any other information now. Overview screen, still saying the same thing. So let's come out and try again. KPF6, this is fine. Overview screen, yeah, now it is not showing. Right, so what we need to plan is for marketing expenses against this particular internal order, how much is your planned cost? So you have to enter the planned cost here. Let's say my total planned cost is 50,000. Okay, and just save this. Okay, so change data has been posted. System has posted the document. This is the planning document. This is not an actual document, right? So planned figures are updated with this particular information. Now, if I go to internal order reporting, so I'll go to information system, reports, plan versus actual values. So yeah, this one. So we are looking at controlling area. This is fine. This is also fine. Order is 1000. I think it is 40. Okay, let's execute this. So you can see planned value is 50,000, but there is nothing posted actually in this particular internal order. Now, when you start posting something, automatically you will find the actual values are getting updated. Okay, so even if I post something more than 50,000, it will not stop me. Even if I post 100,000, it will not stop me because this planning figures which I have entered, these are just for the information purpose. So that at the month end or at the year end or maybe at the end of the life cycle of this particular internal order, if I want to compare what was a planned cost and what is actual cost, I can easily compare. So planning means just for the information purpose. It will not stop the end user if these planning figures are already reached. But if you want that instead of planning, this is a budget. So you cannot book any cost more than 50,000. In that case, instead of planning, you have to perform the budgeting. Okay, so there are two different terminologies in SAP. One is planning and second is budgeting. So normally this budgeting is carried out in the internal orders. Many companies are using internal orders just because of the functionality of budgeting. Okay, so in order to set up the budget for this particular internal order, there are separate transactions. Okay, so before I go ahead on this, any questions till now? Have you understood what is internal order? What is how to post the actual entries, how to post the plan entries, or do you have any question in this?
Gaurav, Sarav here. This whatever posting that we made, in which table they are all getting stored?
Planning figures you are asking?
Right. We
Yeah.
stored, we posted like 50,000, right, on the plan. So,
Yes, planning figures normally in SAP S4 HANA, this planning figures should be getting stored in AC doc P. Let's see. So if I go for new SE16N AC doc P, E stands for plan, so plan data for the line items. And here, let me enter the company code, which is S001. And let's see what are the lines which are posted here. No, it is not posting in AC doc P. So the previous tables, let me just, company code is correct, right? S001.
yeah, that's correct.
Yes. Okay. So which are the planning tables? Just give me a minute for internal order planning. I don't remember, but let's see if I go to SE16N and If I just search for, what is this? No, let me come back to you on the table. So maybe I'll arrange one topic which will be on the tables. So as of now, I don't remember the table name, but
Okay.
yes, whatever transactions you post, even
Mm-hmm.
planning figures, those will
Mm-hmm.
definitely go and be stored as a document in the table. Okay, so there will
Okay.
be line items posted for the planned figures also.
Okay.
But let me come back to you on the table level.
Sure. Okay.
Okay, and what we were doing is we were talking about budget. Yes. So any other questions apart from the question I have parked. So not only this particular table, I will give you the overview of each and every table where exactly the data is getting stored. So as of now, we know the actuals. Whatever actual postings you are doing, those are going to table AC doc A. Okay, but about the planned tables, there are same tables that we were using in ECC, plus there is a new table introduced AC doc P. Okay,
Okay.
so I will come back to you and tell you which information will go to AC doc P and which information will still be getting stored in the old planning tables.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah. No other questions? Okay, now let's go to the budgeting then. Before I go into budgeting, see in internal orders, you have this budgeting feature here. You can go to budgeting and you can set up the budgets. But before I go and tell you how exactly the budget is created and all, there is some configuration related to budgeting. Okay, so in order to do that configuration, let's go to SPRO. So I'll go to IMG. Within this, if I go to controlling internal order, and you have this budgeting and availability control. Okay, so if you go to this budgeting and availability control, there is a budget profile. So we already assigned the standard budget profile to our company code, to our internal order type, sorry, not to the company code, to the internal order type. There is only one budget profile which is pre-delivered by SAP, and we already assigned this budget profile to our internal order. Okay, so if I double click on this, let's see what exactly is maintained here in the budget profile. Okay, so in the budget profile, you have the code and you have the text. These are the first two columns. After that, you have a time frame. Now, what do you mean by time frame? What is this past and what is this future? This past means if I am planning today we are in which year? We are in 2018, right? So whenever I'll be doing the budgeting for a particular internal order, how many years I can plan? So we are in 2018, current year is 2018, but I can plan 1 year in the past, which means my budgeting will start from 2017. So 2017, then the current year 2018, and then 3 future years. So 2019, 20, and 21, which means 1 plus 3 equal to 4 and current year 5. So I can plan for 5 years at a time. One previous year, 3 future years, and one current year. Right? How it will affect? So let me show you parallelly. If I go and try to create a budget for this particular internal order. So if you go to accounting, controlling, internal orders, budgeting, and you have this original budget here. Let's double click on this. Okay, so just press enter. Now you can see here the budgeting is for 17, which is 2018 minus 1 year, 19, 20, and 21. Okay, so for example, if I want to change this, if I want to do the planning for next 5 years instead of 3 years, so that is also possible. Okay, so you can define. Normally, we don't need to worry about the past. We can even skip this to blank. We can say 0. But how many future years you want to plan, you can specify here. So the standard profile, budget profile, which is provided by SAP, it gives you 1 plus 3, but it is up to you. If you want to change this, again, it is recommended that if you are making any changes here, you have to create your Z profile and you have to assign that Z profile to your internal order types. Okay, so this is about the time frame. Now let's talk about the total values and annual values. What do you mean by total values and annual values? So if you can see here again, whenever you are maintaining the budget, you have the overall, how much is the total overall budget, and you have the annual budgets, right? So the overall budget and then the budget for each and every year. So you have both the options selected here. If I just click on totals value, it will not ask me year wise budget. It will only ask me totals value. If I click on only annual values, it will not ask me the total value. It will only ask me annual values. Okay, so that can be selected again from the budget profile. The default exchange rate type, which exchange rate type we want to use. Okay, value date, whether you want one date minus, one date plus. Value date we'll talk about in detail, so you don't need to worry as of now. Normally we keep it blank. Okay, and very importantly, why you are doing the budgeting? See, the whole purpose of doing the budgeting is system should stop you. System should stop the end user to post anything in a particular internal order if the budget is already exceeded, right? So this is called as availability control. So whenever a user will try to post anything into the particular internal order, system will first check whether the budget is available or not. Okay, so in the budget profile, you have this indicator here for availability, sorry, activation type, where you need to specify whether the availability control can be activated at the order level or it cannot be activated. Again, when it is activated, there are two types: automatic activation and background activation. What do you mean by automatic activation? Whenever any internal order is created and then the budget is entered for that particular internal order, automatically availability control will be activated for that particular order. Okay. On the other hand, second is background activation, which means it will not be activated automatically. If you want, you can activate it separately. Okay, so normally we go with automatic activation of the budget. Okay, so now depends, like when you are using a particular internal order type, you can decide whether you want the availability control to be performed or not. It is up to the customer. Okay, and then there are some standard fields like the budgeting currency, you have controlling area. Like whenever you are entering the budget, you want to enter on the controlling area currency or the object currency or the transaction currency. And this is related to the investment management. You don't need to worry about this as of now because investment management is a completely different module. Okay, so these are some of the settings which you need to maintain here. Normally, if you see your customer's environment, you may find that they created their own budget profile and based on these settings, system will behave. Okay, so we already assigned this budget profile to our internal order type. Maybe when you are practicing on your own, I recommend you create your own budget profiles, even planner profiles and all. It would help you in understanding the concept in detail rather than just using the standard profile which is already pre-delivered by SAP. Okay, so even when we will go into the advanced scenarios, we will also create some our own Z profiles so that you can understand, okay, this is how we create the profiles and all. As of now, just focus on the concepts rather than the configuration. Okay, so just understand what are the things which are configured in the budget profile. You don't need to create any budget profile as of now. Then you have maintained the budget profiles in the internal order types. So which means you can also, in this particular place also, you can assign the budget profile to your internal order types. If you already assigned the budget profile to your internal order type when you created the order type, that is perfectly fine. Okay, so if I want to check whether my order type S001 is assigned to the budget profile or not, you can see this is already assigned. Okay, so you don't need to worry about this, just come out. So this was budget profile. Second is maintain the number ranges for the budgeting. Now, what do you mean by maintaining the number ranges for the budgeting? So similar to any other document which is created in controlling, for budgeting also, it creates the controlling document. Okay, and in order to create that controlling document, you have to maintain the groupings. Okay, but in our case, again, we don't need to worry about this number ranges, because if you remember, when we created the controlling number ranges in transaction KA and K, we copied it from 0001 controlling area. So all the number ranges which were available in all the different transactions in controlling area 0001 are already copied in our S001. So again, if you want, you can just click on this intervals, and then you have to go for this ranges and groupings and all. So just let me show you. Just a minute. Where is group? Okay, so normally we don't maintain this individually. We just copy it from 0001. But let me show you where exactly you will be finding the cost planning and budgeting. Let's go to the intervals. These are different intervals, and where are the group? Okay, let's see if they are assigned in the internal order types itself. We'll talk about this number ranges. Coming to the tolerance limit, this is very important configuration. So just if you tell the system that my availability control is active, that is not sufficient, because if your availability control is active, you also need to tell the system how the system will behave. Okay, so before I explain this, let me give you the explanation on the notepad, and then we'll talk about this particular thing. Okay, so we are currently on budgeting. So let's say you have a budget of internal order which is 50,000. Okay, now you already posted one document posted with 10,000, another document posted with 20,000, number 3 document posted with, let's say, another 10,000. Now this means how much budget is already allocated, how much budget is already over consumed. Out of 50,000, how much is already consumed? Total budget is 50,000, and I posted these 3 documents, 10,000, 20,000, 10,000. So how much is already consumed?
40.
40,000, right? 40,000 is already consumed overall. Now 40,000 is how much percentage of 50,000? 80%?
80%.
80%, right?
80.
1,000 is 80% of the overall 50,000. Now if you want the system to issue the warning message, just the information message that you already consumed 80% of your budget. Okay, you must be aware about this on your mobile data, right? So if you have a fixed data available on your mobile device, okay, so what happens is as soon as you complete 80% of your data, you get a message that 80% of your data has been consumed. Okay, why it is giving you that information? So that you know now I am running out of the data. So similarly, I am running out of budget. Okay, so if you want the system that whenever I reach 80%, provide the warning message. Okay, so it will just be the warning message. It will not stop the user. It will just tell them that 80% of your budget is over. Again, once I complete the 90%, again I want another warning so that the user know that okay, 90% of the budget is already over. And as soon as I reach 100%, instead of warning this time, I want system to throw error that you cannot go beyond because you already completed your allocated budget. Okay, so this is nothing but this is called as availability control and this is called as tolerance. So in the tolerance, you can specify at how much percentage allocate like consumption, what should be the behavior of the system. Okay, so in order to, I don't want to confuse you with these things which are already entered. Let me enter a new entry. So for my controlling area S001, okay, and for budget profile, which we created this one. Okay, so if you want a tolerance group, so you can specify for which transactions you want to throw the message. So you can tell if I'm creating a purchase requisition, this should be the message. If I'm creating the purchase order, there should be some other message. If I'm creating a CO document, there should be the other message. But what you can also do is you can say all. So anything, even if a user is trying to create a purchase order or a cost object, if my budget is already completed for 80%, okay, I want this action to be performed. So either I just want to provide the warning message, or I want to generate the warning plus mail to the person who is responsible. So I am a user. I am trying to post some transaction, but the mail should be delivered to the person who is responsible for this particular internal order, that you are already running out of budget. Okay, so that they can take the corrective action. What should be the corrective action? The corrective action could be, please don't book any cost in this internal order because we are running out of budget. One thing. Second thing, if we still need to book the cost even after 100% budget is utilized, then I will request our management to increase the budget. Right? So initial budget was 50,000, but now I know 50% is about to be consumed and we are left with another 20,000. So what we can do is we can go to the management, we can ask the management, can we get additional 20% for this particular internal order? That is called as supplement. Supplement means once you have the budget available, after that budget, if you want to add more amount into your allocated budget, in that case, you can call for the supplement. Okay, so that is the reason this is very important, that you want the responsible person to know that, okay, I'm getting out of budget. Okay, so at 80%, I want just the warning message. Okay, I'm creating another line again for the same budget profile for all the different type of transactions at 90%. So let's say at 90%, I want even the mail should be triggered to the responsible person. And third one, if I am going beyond 100%, then I want to issue the error message so that the user should not be able to post anything. Yeah, sorry, it is not S001, it is S00, right? Or controlling area. An entry already exists. Okay, maybe skip this. This is S000, enter, and this also is S000. Okay, so 80% we will provide the warning, 90% warning with mail, and 100% we want the error. Okay, you can provide the percentage or you can also provide the actual value. So if I'm left with 10,000, that would be absolute variance. So normally we provide percentage. Normally we don't provide the absolute variance, but that option is also available. Okay, so now let's click on save. and click on OK. So now availability control is active. We also specified the tolerance limits. Okay, now let's come out. What is this? Yeah, you can just ignore this. Now, the next step, we need to provide the budget. So you can see there is something called as original budget. Then you have supplement, which means if you want to add the budget. Then there is return. Return means subtracting the budget. So initial budget was 50,000, but then there was a meeting of management and they decided no. Instead of 50,000, reduced by 10,000 and only 40,000 would be the budget. So that is return. And for each of the budget that you will provide, either original or supplement or return, it will create a document. So you can go and display the document from here. Okay, so let's go to the original budget. Let's double click on KO22. Okay, and we are providing the budget for this particular internal order. Let's press enter. I think it is already open. So yeah, I think same screen is already open. So let's close this and go to this screen. So enter. Yes. So now system is asking us how much budget you want to provide for one past year and 3 future years. Okay, so you can specify for 2018, we have a budget of 50,000 and overall budget is also 50,000. Just press enter. Okay, and it is system is also showing you the planned values, which we already entered, right? We already entered the planned values also for this order, but planned and budget, they are independent of each other because planned will not stop, but this budgeting will definitely stop if the budget is exceeded. Okay, so just click on save. Document has been created. Okay, so this document is created, and if I want to see this document, I can go to this transaction and I can see what is the document created. So you have the overall budget and you have the annual budget of 50,000. Okay, so once your budget is created, what will happen next? You will try to post the transactions, right? Now your budget is ready. First you created the internal order, then you entered the planned values, then you entered the budgeted values. Now let's try to make some postings in the internal order. Okay, so the way in which you make the postings is exactly same as we do in cost center accounting. So we'll go to FB50. So this is our document date. This is our posting date. GL account. This one for expense and this one for the bank. So debit, credit. So let's say I'm making the first posting of 10,000. Value date. And here we'll provide the internal order. So our internal order is 40. Okay, so forget about no, we cannot forget about this error because the budget that we created is for 2018. So we need to have this date as 1st of Jan. Enter. Yeah, now it seems okay. Okay, and just post this. Okay, so document was posted. Now if I want to compare the report of budget versus actual. Okay, so plan versus actual, we already seen. Now this time it would be budget versus actual. So let's go to controlling, internal orders, information system, reports on internal order. So plan versus actual, we already seen. Let's go to more reports. In the more reports, you have this budget versus actual versus commitment. Okay, I'll tell you what is commitment later on, but as of now, budget versus actual. So just double click on budget versus actual, provide the order value, or even if you don't provide, that is fine because there are only 2 orders, but let's provide that. So this is the one which we are referring to. Let's execute this. So you can see total budget is 50,000, out of which 10,000 is already consumed. Okay. Now let me tell you what is commitment. Anybody knows what is commitment? If you worked on funds management or maybe any kind of budgeting tool, what is commitment? No idea? Okay. See, commitment means some cost is already posted, right? You already posted this 10,000 to this particular, so it is posted in the financial accounting. But let's say if I create a purchase requisition or if I create a purchase order, this purchase requisition or purchase order, this would not immediately impact my accounting, right? If I create a purchase order, it would not impact my accounting. But still, in the purchase order, if I provided the internal order, so may not be now, but actually it is going to consume my budget, right? Let me take this example. So you created the internal order that, okay, for Facebook marketing for the month of Jan, you have the budget of 50,000 and you already given the order to one of the vendor that, okay, I will pay you 25,000 for this. But this 25,000 will only recorded in accounting when this vendor will send you the invoice. So till that time, this 25,000 is already blocked, right? You are only left with 25,000 for expenses. So that 25,000 will not come here in the actual, that will be reflected in the commitment. Okay, so in as soon as you create a purchase order, and in the purchase order, if you are saying that this purchase order is referencing to the particular internal order, that particular budget will automatically get consumed in the form of commitment. So total, you can see available 40 as of now, allotted is 10, but it can happen that out of 50,000, 10,000 is already actually booked and 25,000 is already purchase order is created. So allotted would be 10 plus 25 equal to 35,000 and you will be left with available with only 15,000. Okay, so that is commitment. Commitment means although you have not consumed that budget in accounting, but it will be still treated as consumed because not now, but that part of the budget you already given the order to the vendor and you are like you are expecting that that cost will appear in this internal order. Okay, clear on this? Any question on what is commitment? Everybody is clear on commitment management? Okay, so now, yes, Sarah, question?
No, I'm good actually.
Okay, so now let's go to the last one. We will try to post one transaction, okay, which is going to exceed this 50,000. So we already booked 10,000. Let's try to book another 50,000 and let's see if we are getting any error. If availability control is set up properly, then we will definitely get the error. Okay, so let me complete this last thing for today because I have some urgent tasks to do. So I'll complete this and then in the next session, we will talk about the settlements and all. Okay, so in order to book the cost, I will again go to transaction FP50. Okay, and this would be on 1st of Jan 2019, 1st of Jan 2019. And I will use this 4002 and this account. This would be debit, this would be credit. Amount, let's try to post 50,000. Okay, so 50,000. Okay, and the internal order is this one. And we have to provide the value date for bank account. Okay, and let's try to post this. So this we can ignore, just press enter, and yes, you are getting the error. What is the error? Item 001, order 10040, budget has been exceeded. If you click on view details, it will tell you. So in document 001, budget for fiscal year was exceeded by 10,000, right? So the original budget was 50,000, 10,000 already consumed, and you are trying to book another 50,000. So total will become 60,000, which is getting exceeded by 10,000. So correct, right? Let's try another document now. This was an error. Why there was an error? There was an error because we mentioned very clearly in the availability control. Where is that? So let me take you to the availability control screen in SPRO. So controlling, internal order, budgeting and availability control, and define tolerance limits. So here we are very clear, if the budget is exceeding 100%, we want the error message, and that is the reason we are getting the error message. Now let's try to post the document with only 80%. Okay, so we have a line for 80%. No, I think both are 90, so I should change this to 80. Okay, so 80%, we want the system to give the warning message. So what would be 80% of 50,000? It is 40,000, right? So 10,000 already posted. Let's try to post more than 30,000. So even if you post 30,001, it should give the warning message. Let's try. So GL account, this one, this one, this is debit, this is credit. So let's say 32,000. Value date and internal order, right? Let's try to enter, another enter. Okay, it is not showing any warning as of now. Let's try to post this. Let me see if the values are correct. I think it should have thrown the warning message, or maybe let's try to do one thing, because we changed the 80% now. So let's make it 36,000. At least 90% error should come. Warning should come, right? So now we are exceeding by 90%. Sorry, now we are consuming more than 90%. So what is the amount? 10,000 we already booked, and we are trying 36,000 additional. So total will become 46,000, and 95% is 45,000. So it is exceeding by 90%. Let's try to enter. It is still not throwing any error or warning. Let's try to post and see. Yes, we are getting the error, but again the problem is this should not be error, this should be warning. Let's see what is the problem now. So in document item, budget for was exceeded by 36,000. How come? We are not posted that document, right? Let's go and see what is the status as of now. So if I go for information system, reports, more reports, or maybe it is already open. No. So more reports, budget versus actual. Okay, and this is our internal order. No, something wrong. 40,000 is still available, so we should be able to post that. Let's come completely out of the screen and let's try once again. So FB 50. Let's change the value date also, although this did not make any difference. and order. Let's try to post this now. This is warning, perfectly fine, but we are still getting the error message, which is wrong. The assigned funds are 4,000, less than the budget for fiscal year 2018. So this is correct. The message is correct, but it should throw the warning message, but it seems this is the error message. Let's try to post this again. Again, it is giving the same error.
I think this is the 90% message. And are you
Yeah,
looking
but
for the
90%,
80% message?
no, 90% message is fine, but
Okay.
90% we said we want the warning message, right?
Yeah, I think this is the warning, right? Whatever number two, because number one, only if it is just 80, then maybe it will come. Or
Okay,
Is
let's
it
try.
because we haven't given any email IDs or something?
Possible. Yes, because the mail is not configured here. So let's try 80%. At
yeah,
least there
let's try
should
that
get the
80.
warning message. Yes. Let's try that.
Oh,
So
it is not.
let's see. So this is credit, this is debit, this is amount, which is above 80%, value date, and then the
And
internal.
below 90, right?
Yeah, below 90.
Okay,
If you go above 90, then 80% message will not come. It will directly
correct,
come as 80% message. Yes.
correct. Yeah,
Okay, so let's try to post this now. This is warning, perfectly fine. Yes. So that is because I think the Swapnil told it right. I think the mail is not configured. That is the reason system is getting confused. What should I do
right,
in that? So it is
right.
stopping, right? So
Mhm.
otherwise, normally see this mail is option because before you set up this too, there are a lot of mail configurations through SMTP portals and all that your basis has to do. Okay, so otherwise you can just keep it as a warning. Even on the 90%, you can tell the system that just give the warning message. Okay, and you can see if you go to the view details, it will still show the same thing that the assigned funds are 8,000 less than the budget for the fiscal year, right? So the manager, let's say end user who is doing this transaction, he can send this message to the manager that I'm getting this message, and the manager will know that okay, we are only left with 8,000. So if I want to continue booking the cost in this internal order, I have to supplement it. Okay, so let's say this document will be posted if you just press enter, and now 42,000 has been consumed, only 8,000 is pending. And now manager realizes that okay, I need additional 5,000. Okay, so he will request the management, can you provide me additional allocation of 5,000, and let's say management is approved it. So what we need to do in that case? In that case, you will again go to supplement. So budgeting instead of original budget, because original budget was 50,000. Now you are supplementing it with another, let's say 5,000. So I'm providing this internal order, the additional budget of for year 2018, I'm providing additional 5,000. Okay, so overall budget has become 55,000 now. Okay, so this will create another document. There is some error. Overall budget less than the cumulative budget. Yes, I have to change the overall budget also, which is 5,000. Okay, now it seems okay. Let's click on save. Yes, so it has created another document, but this would be the supplement document. So if I show you this document, this will clearly tell you that this is a supplement. Okay, original one was, if you see the original document, that was the original budget. Okay, so it will clearly tell you how much was the original budget and how much supplement was added to that budget. Okay, so now the overall budget has become 55,000. So now I can continue to book more than 8,000 to this particular order. Okay, so this is how this budget is controlled in internal orders, okay, which is a very important functionality because I will tell you some scenarios maybe in the next class where exactly this budgeting will be used. So let's say, for example, you are building a furniture for your office, or maybe you are building a new office, okay, and you have a budget in mind. So it will take 2 years to create that building. It will take 2 years to construct that building, right? So as I told you, some internal orders can be valid throughout the many years, right? So some of the orders are very short term, maybe month or just for one particular event, those orders are created. But there are some other orders which will keep on collecting the cost for more than many years. Okay, so if I want to track each and every expense on the construction of the building, I will create one internal order. I will allocate some budget, and then I will keep on booking the expenses on that particular internal order. And as soon as the building is completed, whatever it will be, this time when you construct the building, okay, let's say the total cost for constructing the building is, let's say, around 50 lakhs. Okay, so which is how much? Okay, let's keep it 50 lakhs itself. So let's say 5 million. Okay, so you got the total expense of 5 million. Now, during the settlement, this building expenses will not go to the cost center, right? Building is not a cost center, it is an asset. So whatever cost you have collected in the internal order, it would not be settled to the cost center, it would be settled to the asset. So asset is also one of the cost object. As I told you, it is not necessary that whatever cost you are collecting in the internal order, that would be settled only to the cost centers. No, it can be settled to assets, it can be settled to the sales order, it can be settled to the production order, it can be settled to the cost center, it can be settled to another internal order. So all these combinations are possible. Okay, have you understood now what is budgeting, what is availability control, what are tolerances, where you can set up the message that at 80% I need a warning, at 100% I need a error. So all these things are controlled via budget. And also, if you want to extend the budget, you can do supplements. If you want to reduce the budget, you can go to returns. Okay, so that functionality is also provided in the budget. In the next session, what I'll do now is we will discuss more about budget. Some reports I will show you where you can go and see, okay, what was the total original budget, how much supplement was added, what is the return, all those things, some reports on the budgeting and all. And then we will proceed towards the last topic on internal order, that is settlement. So we'll understand how are we going to settle the cost which is incurred on the internal orders to various different cost objects. Okay, any questions?
So Gaurav, this budget, is it only tied up with internal orders, or can we have budgets for non-internal orders, like general
Normally,
expenses?
see, normally for internal orders, even in cost center accounting, there is some functionality added on the budget side, but that is not very flexible. So I'll
Okay.
explain you what are the challenges with the budgeting in the cost center. So normally we go for, see, budgeting in the cost center is normally very tedious because cost centers have the long validity, right?
Uh-huh.
So
Yeah.
that's the reason we normally go for the internal orders.
Okay. But then for a company, they will have a company level budget, right? And then department level budgets. They will have different kinds of budgets for each
In
department.
that case, yeah, in that case, if you want to have the complete budget on the entire organizational level,
Right.
then FI or CU model is not enough. So there are
Ah,
companies who have they have the advanced scenarios where they need the budget to be created for each and every activity. So
okay.
normally there is a funds management module in SAP, which is mainly responsible for budgeting.
Right. Right. Okay.
Right? So this is like only kind of subset of your activities needs a budget. In that case, you can go for internal
Right.
order. But if you want to
Yeah.
control each and everything, then
Mhm.
it is recommended to go for the funds management.
Yeah. Even in the GL level, we have funds management, right? So
GL
maybe.
level, cost center level, profit center level. So if you implement funds management, you
Mhm.
can activate the budget at any level wherever you want.
But we have the tolerance, right? The other regular tolerance for GL and all. So
That
how
is
that
different.
will,
That is not for budget.
right,
That
right. That's not,
tolerance is,
but which we
yeah,
can
that
then,
tolerances are for the user, which user is allowed to post how much amount.
right, right. Okay. But then at that point, actually, there is no option to check on the budget.
No,
Is there?
no, no.
Okay.
It has nothing to do with the budget. It is like if I am a user and
Right.
if I'm trying to
Yeah,
post
yeah.
the document more than 10,000, I can tell,
Right.
okay, this is a
That's
new
the
user.
user tolerance limit, right?
Right. Yes.
Okay.
Okay, Shailendra has a question, but Shailendra, I will answer this question in the next session because I am in little bit of hurry today. But I'll definitely answer your this question plus Sarav's questions on the tables.
Right. Gaurav, in case if you get the list of tables, no, just share it
Yeah.
with us. Maybe because I wanted to explore on the tables because I'm
Yes.
preparing a report. So
Maybe
yeah, that will be helpful.
before
Yeah,
the next session.
whenever you have it, right, right. Yeah. If you have a list of some tables that I can look at, then I can just explore it because I'm working on a report. So I might have to go and check on few tables. So
Sure, sure, sure. I'll do that.
okay. Yeah. Thanks. Gaurav.
Okay. Thank you all. We'll meet on next Saturday at same time. Thank you. Bye.
Bye, Gaurav. Thanks.
Thanks, Gaurav.